What's up, guys? Jay back with another video. This video is quite different than most of the videos I've created and posted, and this one is focusing on a completely unique and original build with the Musket and Rapier that I've created and I've been playing around with. The reason I wanted to try this build and statted for it is because in the new patch that is coming out based on the PTR updates that Amazon has been giving us, the Musket and Rapier are both getting buffed, Musket specifically. And so I'm kind of testing this build out before the patch comes out. It was really good on the PTR and I wanted to try it now on live servers, and it's obviously not doing as much damage as as it is on the PTR, but I'm just sort of messing around with it now before the patch drops so I can practice and get familiarized with it before it releases. So first, I'm going to go over the armor and weapons that I'm using in this video and for this build, and then I'll get into the attribute distribution, and then finally I'll go over the build that I have decided to run with this weapon combo. So let's get right into it. This is the gear that I'm running. I have Dex and Resilient on my helmet that I crafted. So I run Old Light, and then I have the medium chest. So and I bought this. This is really good. Dex Int, and I have Refreshing Flesh and Invigorated. So I actually take all three Rapier weapon ability perks on my armor. So I have the Fleche there, I have Sundering Riposte there, and I have Omnidirectional Evade on there. So all three of those are really good. I need to get Shooter Stance, Empowered Shooter Stance on a piece of armor, which is really the only weapon perk for Musket that is viable. And then Vigor, obviously, on my hands, which is nice. Then Refreshing Evasion on my legs, and I stat all Dex or Int. Yeah, so Int on my gloves, Dex and Int is basically the only stat. I'm running 5 Con, which is just the very minimum amount of Constitution that you can have. So I'm a complete glass cannon build. Obviously, the Mining Luck is useless on there. And then on my necklace, I run the Dex and the Health, and less ice damage, which is actually pretty good in Outpost Rush and Wars to avoid the damage from the Ice Gauntlet. And then this is where this build gets crazy, guys. So I bought this ring, and it has Intel and Refreshing Evasion, which is good. It doesn't have Keen, but the fire damage is exactly what you want to stat for. So you deal 4.6% more fire damage. And with the Musket, and if you can see here on my weapons, I have two, I think it's the Cut Pristine not the Emerald. It's whatever the fire gem is. The ignited 4. So 50% of damage is converted to fire. So I have both of those on my weapons. So this affects that. So I deal 4.6% more elemental damage because I have the fire gem equipped in both of my weapons. And because Powder Burn, let's see here, where is it? Powder Burn, and this is so annoying. I hate this. Does it go through every single one? Okay, there we go. Powder Burn and Sticky Bomb both deal fire damage. So this ring with the plus fire damage is affecting both my weapons because of the elemental damage, and it's increasing my Powder Burn damage and its tick damage and my Sticky Bomb damage. So having this perk is crazy, and this is what makes this build so unique, is having fire damage increase on your ring and taking Sticky Bomb and Powder Burn. And then on the earring, it's just Dex and Refreshing. Focused is useless, but the Dex and Refreshing is nice. I wish I had a better Rapier, but because I wasn't maining this weapon for a long time, I just bought this off the trading post. And the Rogue, you'll see in a lot of the clips that I'll show at the end, backstab damage is crazy because of this Rapier, because it has backstab, because it has Rogue. So the best perks on a Rapier, though, would be probably Keen, Vicious, and Rogue. Maybe even Keenly Jagged for that bleed damage, but this is what I have for now. And then I crafted this yesterday, so Dex Int on the Lazarus Watcher Musket, obviously with the Fire Gem. Keen Speed, which is good, and then Vicious. So I think Vicious is actually better on a Musket, because you want just those high hits. So you'll see some of my crits hit really high because I have the Vicious perk. Keen is just a higher chance to crit, but Vicious is really nice, especially because we run 300 Dex. So those are my weapons and the armor that I have. And then with the fillet and the mushroom sauce, the 24 int and 16 dex, This will bump me right over. Let's go ahead and eat it so I can show you guys. This will bump me up right up to 300 dex, which is exactly what we want. We just want that last perk, and then we put all the rest of our points into intelligence. So you can see 5 strength, 5 focus, 5 con. This is a complete glass cannon build. So this is a useless perk. This is good. This is really good. So this, this is just basically having another vicious perk on all of your damage. So this, though, the 150 intelligence attribute bonus is exactly what we want, and this increases your elemental damage by 15%. So if you remember, we have the fire gem in both of our weapons, so that's now increasing that damage by an extra 15%, and we have the base intelligence that's increasing that damage because it scales off intel, and we have the fire damage increase. So you'll see in the clips, you know how it shows the thrust damage and then the fire damage next to it because it's split because of the gem? You'll see the fire damage deal way more damage than the thrust damage, and that's because of the fire perk on my ring and the 150 intelligence bonus and just having 177 intelligence. And so there it is. Yeah, so you'll see it just deals a lot of damage. And if I had a 600 gear score ring with the fire perk, I think it would actually get up to 5% increased fire damage. So the better gear I get, the better the damage for this build will get. But first, let's go over the musket build. So like I was saying earlier, we do take powder burn and sticky bomb, and then we also take shooter stance as our third ability. So at a level 20 musket, you want to take salt in the wounds for the increased damage to low health targets. Back it up is just going to help you strafe and kite targets more efficiently. Power weakness is really nice. This is going to increase your damage by 5% to targets with an active debuff. So that will basically almost always be up if you're playing Outpost Rush or Wars. This is actually better than it looks. So this it allows you to deal 10% more damage of armor penetration to targets that aren't blocking with a shield. You'll rarely be hitting targets that are shielded with a musket. Unless, I don't know, it's just you'll never find yourself doing that often. But we take this passive because of the 10% armor penetration to targets. And a lot of people are running heavy armor in Outpost Rush, so this is just going to increase your damage to those targets. And then obviously Hustle, you gain haste after you dodge, and Tactical Reload are the two best, arguably the two best passives you can get as a Musketeer. And then just kick them when they're down, just increases your damage to targets with an active crowd control effect. So this is also really nice. So yeah, both passives for Sticky Bomb unfortunately are not that good. You don't really need to just randomly get 40 stamina when it deals damage on an explosion. If you're managing your stamina correctly, this is just sort of a useless perk, or a useless passive, sorry. And then Sticky Slow, 15% for 3 seconds is not worth it either. So we don't take either of those passives. But Sticky Bomb itself is really good. And guys, this is going to get up to 235% weapon damage when the patch comes out. So keep that in mind. And just test this build out now if you want to play around with Sticky Bomb before it gets insanely good. And everyone will be running it. Cold Shot, we need one of these first two passives to get into the tree. This critical reload sucks. Landing 3 headshots you will never do in PvP. So Cold Shot increases musket damage by 5% and if you're aimed down the sight for more than 3 seconds, which is okay, but you need one of these, so this is the better of the two. Empowering Headshot, which is nice, and then we only take the first passive of Shooter Stance, so we don't take Marksman because if you miss a shot, then this 3 consecutive shots is fairly hard to hit in Outpost Rush, but this is nice, so you can now shoot 5 shots in Shooter Stance. Just the first passive of Powder Burn as well. You won't really be hitting headshots with Powder Burn, so this is another a hard perk to make work. And then we take the bottom 4 passives here, including Sniper. So Ballistic Advantage removes a damage fall off, increases your damage and critical hit damage and headshot damage the farther away the target is. So you'll see in some of the clips, I'm in shooter stance shooting targets that are very far away in Outpost, and this is just helping me increase that damage to those targets. Cold Shot Resupply, it's okay. This is a little bit hard, but better than these other passives that we can get. And then Heightened Precision, obviously, just, this kind of pairs well with Cold Shot. So just try to aim down your sights intentionally keep aiming down your sights longer than you normally would. And obviously sniper is going to be really good for long range and just increases your headshot damage by 15%. So then going into the Rapier build, my Rapier is unfortunately only level 17. But if it was level 20, I would take Perfectionist, Refreshing Strikes, and then On Guard. Those would be the last 3 passives I would take. But yeah, this is a pretty basic build. You'll be seeing a lot of people that are running Rapier run this build. You just avoid the top 2 passives in Grace and take the top 2 in Blood, and then everything else in Grace. So, like I was saying earlier, I have all 3 weapon ability perks on my armor. So Sundering Riposte is nice. The Omnidirectional Evade, which allows Adagio. I don't have to evade forward. I can evade any direction to get that 15% increased damage in your light attack, which is nice. And then the Flesh perk. Forgot what it. Oh, on a critical hit behind your yeah. If you kill someone with a critical hit on the back of a target, then it refreshes Flesh completely, and you'll see that in I think 2 of the clips that I have. So another really good weapon ability perk. But yeah, Flesh does a lot of damage. Riposte is insanely good, and it's gonna get even better. Excuse me. When the PTR patch is updated, and then Evade is just gonna allow you to just burst your target down really fast. And obviously Momentum is just really good. So yeah, that's the Rapier build. So following this will be a combination of my best clips from a few outpost rushes that I ran with this build. So this is primarily for the playstyle of this build. It's pretty specific because we run 5 con. You are very squishy and you have to take into account your positioning at all times. So, you know, watch these clips. Hopefully you'll learn a little bit about, you know, at least how I play this build. And it's sort of like a, if you try to go into melee range, it's sort of like a go in, deal damage, go out, go in, deal damage, go out, and you always have the musket for those long range attacks. So yeah, I hope you enjoy these clips. Holy. Jesus.
somebody when they have full health. Like the damage goes off, but it doesn't actually do damage to their health bar.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's caused by Fortify or something, but I could be wrong. See, I just lasered this guy with probably 4,000 damage and just tickled him. Just not, like, none of it registered.
These guys back, I think that will be really good. Okay, now I'm just not missing. Get the fuck out of my game, man. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Just a friendly reminder that I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/jbravotv. So if you want to watch me run this build live, I recommend you go check out my Twitch and hang out there when I'm streaming. This build is incredibly fun. So, you know, if you guys like the musket and or the rapier, I highly recommend trying out this build. You know, you're gonna really enjoy it in Outpost Rush. I haven't tried it in a war yet, but I know that when this PTR comes out, or when the PTR update comes out, this build is going to get exponentially better. And so it might actually be really good in wars with that sticky bomb damage increased to 235%. So when that update is out, I will be running this build nonstop in Outpost Rush. So, you know, look forward to that, and appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one.